Well, the word got around, they said this kid is insane, man. Took up a collection just to send him to the mainland. Get your education, don't forget from whence you came, and the world's gonna know your
My name is Koko. My Chinese name is Honi Soit, and I'm first year student, and I'm doing Bachelor of Commerce Liberal Studies.
Are you affiliated with any political party?
No.
Okay. Earlier this year, the USU was embroiled in a controversy surrounding the registration of the Evangelical Union. We would like to know whether you would have taken the same course that the board had done at that stage and threatened the deregistration of the union over faith-based declarations.
No, because I'm sorry, like the.
Would you have taken the same stance that the board did in relation to requiring members to make a faith-based declaration?
No, because like international students, for example, Chinese international students, like we don't have religious belief, like most of it.
Okay.
Yeah, like.
So in relation to a society that requires its members to make a declaration of faith before they sign up, do you think they should be allowed to do that? To require their members to do that? Or should we...
I think this shouldn't be compulsory. Because people can, like, religious belief, people can... I'm sorry, could you please record this again?
So earlier this year,
yeah.
There was a controversy because the Evangelical Union requires people to make a signed declaration of faith in Jesus Christ before they can join that club. They were then threatened with deregistration, and this morning the board decided to not pursue that deregistration. Our question is, would you have deregistered the Evangelical Union, or do you support the actions of the board this year?
Like you have to be Christian to join the society. And the board said, okay, we don't want this to happen. Like anyone can join the society.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely I will support what the board did.
By allowing them to
sign up, like.
So you don't think that societies should make their members sign a declaration of religious faith?
No. I think like religion should be a free thing. Like you can, like you don't have to feel you're obliged to sign up this kind of declaration.
Would you take that so far as deregistering the Evangelical Union if they didn't want to comply with that?
Yeah, like. Yes.
Okay. Well.
Okay. So moving quickly along, another question we have is, do you think that the board should be able to discuss issues such as executive salaries in camera? And in camera means it's a secret meeting that no other student can attend and no student journalists can attend.
No, I think it's definitely gonna be like released to the public because, especially for international students, like we know quite few about, like we don't know, like most of us know nothing about USU, like what is USU, what they're doing, like, so I think it's crucial for them to have open platform towards international students and other domestic students as well. And I think it's crucial also like for them to build social media platform, like to release their news not only on Facebook but also to like Line in Korea and also WeChat for Chinese students.
Sure. In that case, is there anything that you think the board should discuss in camera?
I think they should like engage more students to know what they're doing basically, but.
So you can't think of anything now that they should discuss in secret?
Yeah, like I can't think of anything they should discuss in secret.
You are competing with 8 other candidates for the number of spots on board. Excluding yourself, who would you rank first to third on your ballot if you had to vote?
This is a hard question. I think Courtney is, like, I'll support her. Like, I'll vote for her if I was a candidate because, like, she's quite a responsible person. Like, I knew that because of personal connection. Last semester, I've been, like, she's the producer of one of the play in SAS I was involved in. Yeah, and, like, I prefer independent candidates because, like, there are no faction represent international students. Like, there's another point, like, I'd prefer independent candidates because no faction, like, doing much for international students.
But Courtney is associated with the grassroots faction.
I know, like, these
Yeah.
2 points are separate, like,
Right.
personally, but, like, for my political belief, I prefer independent candidates.
So if she's your number one pick, who would be 2 and 3?
Issa, like,
Esther?
yeah. Because she's running, like, she's independent candidate as well.
And number 3? Can I get a third out of you?
It's hard. Maybe. Vanessa?
Vanessa?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those 3, will you be making a preference deal with them? Will you encouraging your supporters to vote for them second or third?
My campaign manager is working on that now.
Okay, so that hasn't been finalized.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. A similar question is from the board members who were elected last year, who do you think has been most effective or most productive on board this year?
For my personal experience, I think Michael is doing quite a good job. Like, this might be personal, but, like, he's quite interested in promoting the overall well-being for international students. Like, he agreed to give us, like allow us to have interview with him to explain, like, what's USU and how USU is operating and how USU is engaging international students. Like, he held that kind of interview with us.
And what were the
So-
circumstances of that interview?
Because I'm building a WeChat, like a WeChat page, and, like, a social media platform, basically. Like, it's like we interview domestic student, like education officer in SRC, and also, like, board directors in USU, and we interview Alicia as well, like, to let them explain, like, student activism and student politics, like, and the events USU are holding to international students. And we launched that on WeChat page because especially Chinese students, they don't use Facebook.
Is this a page
Yeah.
that's associated with your campaign?
No,
It was
like,
anterior
it's
to...
way, like, earlier. And,
I see.
yeah.
So does that mean you'll be voting for Michael for president?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Again, a similar question. So what do you think is the best policy that has been developed by the board over the past year? Or best policy change?
I don't know, because there hasn't been, like, very exact policy on board concerned with international students. Like, none of them are targeted to us, so, like, it's quite the same. Like,
So
I can't say, like, which one I like most because, like, they're not directly concerned with international students. Yeah.
So, do you plan on making any policy changes or using your board portfolio for anything apart from an international students representation?
Like, all my policies are about international students. Like,
So is that a yes? Do you plan on only working
not
on areas affecting international students?
like my main focus would be on international students, but I would definitely collaborate with other boards to help them with other stuff. But I think my main goal, if I got elected, is to boost the representation of international students, and that's the main reason I run for board too.
Okay, so I guess to swing you back to a policy that has been implemented over the past year, earlier this year, campaign regulations were changed such that existing board members are able to campaign for candidates such as yourself. Do you think this is a good change? Do you support that change?
You mean like, for example, Michael can support Grace?
That's
like
exactly
that.
it. Yep.
I think personally, I think it's a good policy because that means if I get elected, I can help more international students to get involved in USU.
So just moving on, how much experience would you say that you have with the union or with the Clubs and Societies program?
Like personally, like this is my second semester, and for the first semester, I was a member in SATS. Like I've pitched a play for SATS, and I've done like do the stagehand. Like basically, I know how they operate, like how they pitch for a show and how they produce a show, but I haven't like made my own show yet because it's only my first semester, and I got quite a lot of barriers to enter that club. Like even though I know how they operate, like it's very difficult for me to break the barrier and be the core member in that society because all of them are domestic students and no one's like really helping international students to get involved, and that's one thing I want to change as if I get elected too. And also I was member in a philosophy discussion society, so yeah, like we watch movie and discuss about questions every week. And this semester I become the fundraiser assistant for Chinese Student Association. Like basically it's about how to build sponsorship with other companies like outside campus to raise funds for this.
So the only executive position you've held was this semester with the Chinese students?
Not really.
Sorry, so
Like
so that was the only executive
this
position
is
you
like
held?
they have committee and subcommittee. Like I'm in the subcommittee of the society.
Do you think that's enough experience to run for board or understand how much the union does?
I think like this is not much experience, but like there should be someone to do that, like to run for board to represent international students. And I think I know how they operate, but like it's just difficult for us to really get position in USU. Like if I'm not doing this, like no one's gonna do this, like because firstly it's a 2-year position and like we only have 3 years in uni and we can't do the part-time, so like it's the latest timing like I can apply for this position, like first year, second semester.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So going on to some of your more specific policies, if that's fine. So one of your policies is to create a new international student portfolio for board directors. What specific work would that portfolio do?
I think firstly, it's gonna like to collaborate with clubs and societies and encourage each club and society reserve one position, like one exact team position for international students. Like to encourage this to happen by giving extra funding for clubs and societies which does this. Like there should be people doing this.
So would you like to encourage them? Would you like to have a regulation change?
Like the regulation should be, if they are doing that, we'll give them extra funding. USU will give them extra funding.
Cool.
And also I want to build like I just said, I want to build a social media platform connecting domestic students with international students. Like just give example, like for Chinese students, we should build a WeChat platform, like to give them what's happening in USU and what's happening in SRC and Supra, and try to get them more involved in student politics and student organizations on campus.
Cool. Just a follow-up question. Would the international student portfolio be reserved only for international students?
Yes, definitely.
Doesn't that mean that if there's a year where an international student isn't on board, there will be no one to fill the portfolio?
Yes, I think there should be candidate, like in the future.
So, but
to go for
to
this.
clarify, your policy is that domestic students can't hold the international student portfolio even when there's no international student.
Because it will be pointless every time.
But as you understand, it's quite difficult to run for board as an international student. How many people in the future do you expect will actually get to engage that portfolio?
I think if I can get elected, and I'll help international students to get more concerned about that. By doing a lot of stuff like what my policies suggest, and I think like by making this a regulation as like international student portfolio should be international student, that in another way they encourage domestic students to try to look for international students who might be fill up this position. Like it's not a one-side thing; it's mutual. Like if they don't have candidate, they'll have this portfolio empty, so they will try their best to get international students engaged.
So one of your specific policies for engaging international students is holding seminars about how to become an executive member.
Yeah.
How will they differ from the information that the board gives generally to all students about how to become executive members?
First, I think it's about the degree of participation. Like this kind of seminar will be made known to international students, like all of them. Because I think currently this kind of info session, like international students, few of them know what's happening, like they don't know about this session. So like my seminar will be like, I'll make as many as possible international students know that by building the social platform that they are active in, like release information about that in their own social media platform, so they'll know that. And also we'll have international students themselves like to organize this kind of events. Like
another one of your policies is to improve the quality of the food outlets on campus that sell foreign cuisine. How will you achieve that?
Because Little Asia, like many of my friends, they think it's not good, so we'll make a proposal by building more international cuisine on campus. Like we'll have sponsorship from maybe like Chinese restaurant or Korean restaurant or Japanese restaurant outside campus.
So are you looking to bring in new restaurants and new contracts for outlets?
Yeah.
One of the other candidates, Dom Bondar, has a similar policy except for corporate fast food, such as McDonald's on campus. Do you think that's a good policy?
Like to bring McDonald's up?
Yes.
No, I think it's not good because I think junk food McDonald's is not good for health. Yeah. Like I want more healthy international cuisine because, like for example, Chinese cuisine are quite healthy.
Yeah, cool. So just quickly, another policy that you have is that certain USU staff positions will also be reserved for international students. Which staff positions do you intend to lobby for, and roughly how many?
I think many kinds of positions. Like the simplest example would be like the positions in cafes and bars and retail stores, because many international students are work underpaid outside campus. Like for example in fish market, like many international students only get paid for around $14 or $12 an hour. And also like in Chinese restaurant, they are paid like $10 per hour, and like they don't know there are like reasonably paid jobs on campus. So I think it will be like, obviously it will be better for them to work on campus with reasonable pay and convenient location other than those underpaid jobs outside campus.
So was it just
No,
cafes
no.
or other? What are the
No,
other
like
examples?
other positions, for example, like students who can be in charge of clubs and societies, like management, and like they can do many kind of jobs, like
So like management within the union.
yeah, like they can work in office too,
Okay, cool.
like not just.
And roughly how many? So as a percentage or as a number?
I think around 30 to 50 would be reasonable because
30 to 50 people or percent?
people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which do you think is your most valuable policy?
I think this should be the clubs and society involvement policy is my most valuable policy, because if they can be engaged in clubs and societies, they'll naturally know how senior uni's student organization is operated. And that will lead to their general participation in USU and in SRC, and also like also it will be good for the social media platform, because then they'll have something to write about on those kind of platforms, and so they'll reach more audience, so they'll bring more international students to the student organization on campus.
Cool. As you may know, if you are elected to board, you'll be bound by legal fiduciary duties to act in the interest of the USU. Would you ever breach those duties if you thought it would be in the interest of students, or even specifically international students?
No, I won't breach the regulations.
Okay.
Like if I want to change something, I'll propose something like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all the questions we have. Thank you very much for your time, and best of luck with your campaign.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, the word got around, they said this kid is insane, man. Took up a collection just to send him to the mainland. Get your education, don't forget